Springtime. Flowers. Birds. Strawberry rhubarb pie. Hello and happy spring! Today we're going to be making strawberry rhubarb pie, which has been scientifically proven to be the best pie there is. Look it up. We're going to be using the Petey's Pie recipe from the Pie for Everyone cookbook. I used to work at Petey's Pie and I actually helped co-write the book proposal for this cookbook. Look for my name in the acknowledgements. This is rhubarb. You can find it at your local grocery store or farmer's market, but only in the spring and early summer, so it's a very special, limited time only pie. These are strawberries. You probably already know about these. We're gonna chop these things up and we're gonna make the filling and we're gonna get started. For the filling, you'll need 1 1/4 cups of strawberries, 3 1/2 cups of rhubarb, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, 2/3 of a cup of sugar, 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and that's it. Okay, first thing we're gonna do to make our filling is combine our strawberries with our rhubarb and our lemon juice. And then we're gonna mix that up. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is combine our dry ingredients, our sugar, our cornstarch, and our salt. Making sure that all gets mixed together. That looks good. Now we're gonna pour our dry ingredients over the rhubarb and strawberry mixture. Rhubarb makes me so happy because it's a signal that summer is starting and I am a summer gal. Okay, check it out. This looks good. Our filling is done. Check it off the list. We're gonna set this to the side and we're gonna make our dough. Before we make our dough, now's a good time to preheat the oven to 400 degrees. All right. So for our dough, we need 2 sticks of unsalted butter, or 1 cup. You're gonna wanna cut that into 1/2 inch pieces and put it in a bowl and set it aside in the fridge while you're getting everything else ready. Then you're gonna need to combine 1 tablespoon sugar with 1 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Get 1/4 a cup of boiling water and mix that all together so the sugar and salt dissolve. Then set that in the freezer. You need it to be ice cold before we start making the dough. Finally, you're gonna need 1 1/2 cups of pastry flour and 2/3 a cup of all-purpose flour. You're gonna combine those in a bowl, mix them together, and put it in the freezer. Okay, it's time to make our dough. This is the exercise portion of the pie baking process. So first, we're gonna pour our flour mixture into a big old bowl. And we're gonna pour our butter on top of that. Oh. And now we're gonna start working it together with our hands. We wanna make sure that, first of all of the butter is coated in flour, and then we're gonna kind of take our forefingers and our thumbs and just kind of mash them into little sheets. And this is gonna start the combination process. And again, the butter and the flour should be really cold for this. If it's too warm, everything won't really combine evenly and it'll just kind of be a mess. You can feel the transformation happening.
Do you ever think to yourself, I could just eat this butter and flour right now?
I don't. All right. So this is looking pretty good. All of our big clumps of butter have transformed into smaller clumps of butter that are now coated nice and evenly in flour. So we're gonna add our ice cold sugar, salt, water mixture. And we're gonna keep working this through with our hands. So now you wanna take a more full-handed approach and really get in there and start to form the dough into a couple of balls. This is the point in the process when you might feel a little panicked and you're like, this doesn't seem wet enough. How is this gonna become dough? But it'll work, it'll happen. Trust the process. Make sure it's a nice tight ball of dough because you don't want it to just separate and fall apart when you roll it out in a little while. Your forearms are gonna get jacked, so that's exciting. All right, that's a couple of balls of dough. There they are. We did it. Do you like my balls? Rolling mat. All right, we've got our 2 balls of dough, and now it's time to roll out our pie crusts. We're getting very close to pie time. It's almost pie time. Well, it's gonna need to bake for like an hour. Got some extra flour here. I have my favorite King Arthur Baking Company rolling mat. Endless uses for this bad boy. All right, let's spread a little extra flour so that nothing gets sticky. Let's roll it out. Choose one of your balls, put it in the center here, and just kind of mash it down into a disc, like so. And we're using a 9-inch pie tin, so we're gonna aim to roll it out in a circle that's about like 10 inches. And it helps to kind of lift it up, reshape it when you need to. And I recommend doing this pretty shortly after forming your dough balls because as the dough warms up, especially if you're working in a hot kitchen, the butter will get softer and it'll get a little harder to work with. I have tried to make a strawberry rhubarb pie on a very hot day in an apartment without air conditioning, and it was a mess. I don't want that for you. It's okay if your edges aren't perfect because we're gonna crimp the edges anyway. Okay, this looks good. We're gonna set it in the pie tin. And now, as you can see, any parts where the edge is cracked a little bit, you can kind of just go in and fix. All right, there's our bottom crust. Set this to the side. So we have our filling from earlier. You remember this. We are going to take our filling and we're gonna put it in the bottom crust. It smells really good. It looks stunning. I'll say it. That is a vision of spring, and I'm here for it. Now we're going to roll out our other ball of dough into our top crust. We're just gonna do pretty much the same thing we just did.
Okay.
This looks good. Again, don't panic if it's not a perfect circle because we're gonna have an opportunity to mold things to look the way we want them to look. We're gonna lift up the dough we just rolled out and put it on top here. That's looking good. Now that we have our top crust on top, we're going to crimp and clean up these edges. So make little pincers with your thumb and forefinger, get in there and make these nice little triangles. And this will kind of seal the top crust and the bottom crust together. And then we're gonna do that all the way around the pie. And when we have some extra dough hanging off the side, if you need to fill in any gaps anywhere else, you can kind of just rip it off and put it on there, or you can just fold it up and in. This part is fun. It's sort of like working with Play-Doh when you're a kid, except you can eat this Play-Doh. And I also ate Play-Doh when I was a kid, but I wasn't supposed to. And I would get in trouble, but it just tasted good because it was salty. If they don't want kids to eat Play-Doh, they shouldn't make Play-Doh delicious. That's all I'm saying. This looks great. Am I a master crimper? No, but I've got spirit, and it looks like pie. And last summer when I tried to film this, I tried to lift it up and then all of the juice spilled out. Or a lot of the juice spilled out. It was sad. So this is going much better. Let's get our pie ready to go in the oven. First, what we're gonna do is make some egg wash. Egg wash is just gonna give it a nice golden hue. It's gonna just make it look like a pie out of a magazine that your mom has. Add 2 tablespoons of sugar to 1 egg, and we're just gonna whisk it together. So now we're gonna brush our egg wash onto our pie crust. And you're gonna have more egg wash than you need. You don't need to go crazy with the egg wash. You just want a thin layer. Make sure to get it on your crimped edges. That looks good. A nice glaze on top. Finally, this is the last step. And then we're gonna put this pie in the oven. We're going to cut vents in the pie. This is so that the filling doesn't, I don't actually know what would happen. The filling is gonna get really hot and bubble up and it needs to let air out. Probably shouldn't be waving my knife around so much. Vents are necessary. You can cut any design you want. This is the time to get creative. I'm gonna go for something a little classy. I think I'm just gonna do kind of a starburst situation. That looks great. This pie is ready to go in the oven. Let's do it. We're gonna bake it at 400 degrees for the first 20 minutes, and then we're gonna turn the heat down to 375 and bake it for another 40. So I'm gonna set a timer. She's beautiful. Oh, that's a flaky crust. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Oh no. Honestly, to be transparent with you all, I should have let it rest a little longer before slicing into it. And then we wouldn't be having the issue that we're having now where it's spilling into the center just a little bit. Take the hour of resting seriously. All right, let's take a bite. Ooh, that is a flaky, buttery crust. Wow. This pie is magic. This is a magical pie. It's everything that you could want out of life. Sweet, tart, perfectly balanced, flaky, buttery crust with some vanilla ice cream. This would be next level. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye! I love pie! I love this pie. I love this pie.